Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is all things splits. My top 3 tips to help you guys get your splits. And I don't know about you, but when I was starting my yoga journey, the splits was my first physical goal. I just remember, ever since I was little, I really wanted to be able to do the splits. And I remember when I was young, practicing in my parents' bedroom, trying to get into the splits, and I could never do it. And it was only until I was about 21 or 22 that I finally was able to manage to be consistent enough to get my splits, to be specific enough in the stretches that I was doing, that I was able to get my splits, and that I was patient enough. Most of the time I would give up before I gave my body a real chance to see progress, and something like the splits takes time for your body to open up, to learn this new skill, to lengthen the muscles, and also to give them enough support to be able to get into the split safely while avoiding injury. So that's what we're going to break down today, and this will help you get your splits. Okay, let's get into it. We're going to start with the basics, and I'm going to share with you guys my favorite stretches, and we're going to chat along the way. So coming into your downward facing dog, we're just going to pedal out the feet here, trying to get that length through the hamstrings, through the lower back. So the splits is not just about having flexible hamstrings, it's open hips, it's an open spine, and open hamstrings. So we're going to work on opening all 3 of those areas today. And from here, we're going to drop down onto our hands and knees and coming into thread the needle. So the right arm is going to lift to the sky, inhale. And exhale, thread it through over to the left side. And inhale, lift. And exhale. Inhale, lift. And exhale. And come back to the middle. Left arm comes up to the sky. We're going to inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale, and inhale back into the middle. Now bring your arms out in front of you and come and lie onto your tummy. Stretch your arms out to the side. The right leg is going to come up over to the left hand. So we're going to inhale and exhale, just seeing where that leg naturally, or that foot really naturally wants to go. Try not to force it. Just decompressing the spine, opening up through each vertebra. And release. Left leg comes up, inhale. And exhale over to the right side. Good. And slowly start to release. From here, we're going to come into an upward facing dog. So place your hands either side of your sports bra. We're going to roll the shoulders back, press through the tops of the feet, press through the hands, and coming into our upward facing dog. Thighs off of the mat. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to gently start to warm up the hamstrings a little bit more. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to walk our hands towards our feet. So just gently walking your hands towards your feet, nice and slow. Try not to rush everything, and try to keep that length through your spine. A lot of people try and round through the spine when they feel an intense stretch through their hamstrings. So try to keep that length here as you fold forwards and walk back into your downward facing dog. Exhale and inhale forwards, just breathing normally. Good. We're just going to do one more. Exhale And bring the hands all the way back. Good. And from here, we're just gonna bring the feet a little bit wider. I like to bring them probably as wide as my mat, so toes facing out towards the side, ever so slightly, and bending into the knees, coming into our little yogi squat here, lifting through the chest, really, really important. And from here, we're gonna straighten through the legs. Exhale, and inhale into your yogi squat. Good. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Walking your hands out into a downward facing dog. We're going to bring the right leg into a low lunge. So the right leg is going to step forwards in between the hands, dropping that back knee and lifting through the chest. Good. So we're going to really press through into the hip. Inhale here and exhale. Push back. Inhale and exhale. So this little flow that we're doing now, inhale and exhale, is one of my favorites. Inhale and exhale. Stepping back into your downward facing dog. Your left leg is going to come forwards into your lunge. Drop that back knee, lifting through the chest. Good. From here, we're going to pull back into that half split. So when you pull back into your half split, you're putting more emphasis on stretching, lengthening through the hamstring. I want you to flex that front foot and try to melt your chest or your rib cage towards that front leg. So we're going to exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, inhale, and exhale. Good, inhale forwards, exhale, step back into your downward facing dog. Now, this is one of my favorite stretches for the splits. We're gonna go straight into lizard. So the right foot is gonna step on the outside of the right hand. So it's just like a lunge, but slightly different. We're going to work more into the deeper layers of the hamstrings, opening up into the hip a little bit more. So notice how that back leg is nice and straight. We're going to drop that knee down, lifting through the chest here. You can slightly roll onto the outside corner of your right foot if that feels good for you. And really pull your shoulder blades towards each other, lifting through the chest. Good, maybe just wiggling from right to left. Good. So you can stay here. I'm going to go through two variations depending on where you are in your journey. One might be better for you at this time than others. So we're going to come down into the forearms. Good. Holding here. And coming all the way up, taking that third variation, we're actually going to open up towards the right side. Inhale here. And exhale, bring that left foot to the right hand. Good. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, reach. Inhale. And exhale. Two more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And release. Pressing back into your downward facing dog. Let's do the same on the other side. So left leg steps forwards into lizard, dropping that back knee, lifting through the chest. So in terms of frequency, I would recommend doing a splits flow at least 3 times a week if you want to see progress. And if you are working out and doing resistance training alongside your goal of getting the splits, you'll probably need to do it a little bit more. So we're gonna come down onto our forearms if we did that on the other side. Good, so the most important thing is making sure that when you enter a stretch, you're holding it enough to allow the body to release some of the tension it's been holding, to lengthen. You can do that by holding a static stretch just like we're doing, or you can do it through flowing between poses, which is a bit more dynamic. So we're going to do a combination of those in this session, and you'll figure out what feels good for you. And I'm going to come all the way up, taking that third variation. We're going to open up, left arm towards the sky, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale 3, 2 more. Inhale, exhale 4, inhale, and exhale 5. Good, and pressing back into our downward facing dog. Good, and for our final pose of my splits favorites, we're gonna go into our pigeon. So the right leg is gonna come forwards, knee in line with the hips, flexing through that front foot, coming into your pigeon. Everything is tracking forwards here, so not rolling off the stretch. You guys know the drill. Good, so from here, we're gonna try and lengthen through everything, and you can keep with this variation. You can come all the way down, lying over that front leg. Or if you're feeling like you can, and it's accessible to you, you can grab a yoga strap, or you can use your hand, grabbing hold of that back leg. Just deepening the stretch through your left hip flexor. Good. And one thing that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about when practicing the splits is you don't need to actually practice the physical posture itself to make progress. So all of these poses that we're doing will open and unlock the splits posture, but every time you practice a splits flow, just release that stretch for me, and press back into your downward facing dog. The left leg is going to come forwards. Each time you practice this flow, don't feel any pressure to get into the splits pose itself, but know that each time you do it, you are making progress. So I would actually recommend doing a physical splits hold once a week. Once a week is absolutely perfect if you're working on getting your splits. Doing it too many times is actually going to place a lot of stress. You're going to get frustrated because you feel like you're not getting any lower each time you get to it. So give your body some time and practice it once a week, and see over the course of 6, 7, 8 weeks how much lower you get. And coming down into your sleeping pigeon. Good, and lifting that back leg into this variation of king pigeon. Good. And slowly start to release. Pressing back into your downward facing dog. And coming down onto your knees or into a seated position that feels good for you. So we're going to go over how to safely get into your splits, and then you can practice this off camera and in your own time. So to break it down, most people slide into the splits with their front leg and a lot of pressure coming onto their hamstring. We're going to get into it hip before hamstring, which is why we spent a lot of time opening up the hip flexors, because they are so vital in facilitating this posture and taking the hamstring pressure off a little bit. If you think about the position of the hamstring, where the muscles insert and begin and connect, your hamstring gets put in a very vulnerable position. So a lot of people, when they practice their splits, they actually end up getting a yoga butt injury, which is a really sort of sharp pain just underneath the glute. And that's an indication that you've either had a little tear or a strain to the muscle at the insertion point, which is actually the weakest point. So we want to really try to protect that area. So we're going to start in our low lunge, and we're going to flow through that hip vinyasa, so the low lunge to half split, just a few times, just really connecting your mind to the muscles. And from here, you're actually going to edge that back leg back and walk that front leg forwards. Notice how I'm still leaning forwards. Now we actually want to change that. We want to be sitting on top of our hips. Okay, so leaning back. So maybe this is your split, this is as far as you can go. You can place some blocks underneath your hands, pulling the shoulders back, breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe you want to go a little bit lower. If you want to go a little bit lower, you're going to have to start to straighten that front leg and bend slightly at the knee, coming all the way down. So notice how I'm adjusting here, just really feeling for the muscle, lifting through the chest as always. You see my hands are slightly in front, but I'm leaning back. Good. Breathing, and when you want to come out of your splits, you're just going to gently start to move the front foot towards the body and pressing into your lunge and flying backwards a few times. And just coming back into your seat. So we're going to finish that class there, but feel free to spend some more time working through those stretches, doing your splits on the other side, so evening out on both sides. And I will see you guys for the next YouTube video. I hope you guys have the best